And we're live. What's up, Maya?
It's so weird. Just I have to get used to this again.
Yeah.
Sitting across from each other.
What you doing on your phone? Escrows.
No, I'm waiting for our thing to come
Oh,
live so I
okay.
can track
Well,
it.
you're doing the right thing.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay. Because sometimes, Mahe is like closing a deal real quick. Okay. Yeah. 2 million. Accepted. Like, let's go live. But
No, I'm waiting for you guys to start
commenting
on the
liking,
video.
gassing up this video. As always, go to coreteamhawaii.com for all your real estate needs. Check out our Instagram on Core Team Hawaii. Tell me. Huh? I never plug them in. That's on me.
Well, who else is that going to be on?
Huh?
Why you say that like it could be on somebody else?
What I was thinking was Mahi's over here doing her job, and I never even plug in my computer. That's what I meant.
That's on you.
That's me. Yeah. That's on me. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, go to coreteamhawaii.com.
Go to coreteamhawaii.com. And also go to Core Team Hawaii's Instagram because see this logo in the top left. We made this other logo that fits, that's appropriate for IG, because you need a logo that is like this.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing. But then Aiden was like, "Oh, let's just change everything to that logo or something to that effect." He might storm in here and say, "That's not exactly what I said." But what do you guys think? Check it out, but not right now. Stay on this live right now. Don't go. Do that after. We're going to talk today about when the best time to buy is. What motivated this is I rolled out of bed today, I checked my phone, etc. And then this video came up. Here, I'm going to play the audio for you.
Hi. When's the best time to buy a home? 100 years ago. What does that question mean?
Did you see it?
Every home in America 50 years ago. That's what I'd like to do. What does that question mean in the context of timing? Best time to buy a home is whenever you're in the best position to buy the home.
Yeah. And we've said that in very many words, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is
but it's still just naturally you want to ask that question.
Right.
Naturally, every person wants to ask that question.
It's a version of how's the market?
Yeah. Yes, it's adjacent to how is the market.
And I wonder, because granted, we weren't doing real estate in 1996 or whatever, but I wonder pre-2008, the biggest economic crisis of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
All the adults who are adulting now.
Yeah.
Or at least aware of the implications of 2008. Were people asking that in a more like from 1990 to 1999, was it as important of a question? What do you guys think? Let us, if you're comfortable letting us know your age, YouTube names, we can't tell who you are, right? Most people.
Some of you, I know who you guys are though.
Yeah, some of you I know you are, but I feel like that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Because of the 2008, it's like, and think about it, we're almost 20 years removed. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. My 20-year reunion is coming up.
You're 20. You grad 2008?
No.
No. You're older than
2005.
That. Yeah, that's right.
Did you say I'm older than you are?
Older than that.
Oh, I was like.
Yeah. But I wonder if like 1990 to 1999, people were so like, nah, I'm going to wait.
I have to think no.
I think yes and no, because I think human nature is to always want to try to time the market. I think whether it's the stock market, the housing market, buying a car or a business or anything significant, people have always thought about now, but what if I wait? What's the opposite of FOMO? I guess it is FOMO, but it's like future FOMO for the future.
Yeah.
Like, what if I don't make the perfect decision? But the fact is, even in the stock market where you can transact quicker. So it takes you a couple months to buy a house typically. By the time you make the decision, get pre-approved, write the offer, see a few homes, write the offer, and actually go through the escrow, a couple months, let's just say. The escrow process is 30 to 45 days. Even in the stock market where you could trade the same stock multiple times in a day, the ability to choose the right moment it's impossible.
Yeah.
No one does it. Schwab and JP Morgan did 15-year studies independently and showed basically that almost no one times and beats the market. Almost no one. So even great real estate agents, great lenders, like Jody's going to come through, macroeconomics majors and historians, like they can't time the market.
Yeah.
So the best time is when you're ready.
Yeah.
And so the actions you should be taking are more to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be learning a skill, your lemonade stand on the side, something to get you in a position to buy rather than thinking you're going to catch. Rates drop to 2%, housing prices drop, and this like confluence of illogical things comes together so that I buy the house.
Mm-hmm.
Just you get ready. You get yourself ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of doing that with myself right now.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go with it?
No, I was just going to say the same thing. Like, I think when people ask when is the right time, I think you're preparing for or waiting on the wrong things sometimes. Like, if that is the main focus, I think the main focus is your family, is your job, is your where you are in life, is your what your needs are. Like, those are the things that are the true answers to when is it the right time to buy. Those are the real questions that need to be asked.
Yeah.
Because, most people are not buying a house for a 1-year decision. Most people are not buying a house and thinking short term like that. It's a longer term thing. It's your permanent residence. So I think the kind of questions of like, oh, well, I really want to wait for the rate to be whatever. I'm like, okay, maybe if you're only going to be there like for half a year, and so it makes a difference then, but that's not typically how we plan things. When we're buying a home, it's a process that can take years to prepare for. And it's a process that you think years ahead as well. Yeah.
And I think it's okay. It is okay to be a little nervous, a little afraid about it.
100%.
I am trying to buy. In fact, I stayed up last night looking at the market, deeply analyzing several markets. What if we move to Kailua? What if we move to Manoa? What if we move to Hawaii Kai, Makakilo, Eva? Just did this whole process. Because I couldn't
was
sleep.
getting some emails from you pretty late when I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so I went through the whole process, and Aiden was telling someone the other day, he's like, Derek's the buyer you don't want to have, And I think it's okay to be afraid. And it is okay to be afraid or nervous. I'm buying if I count the one in Puerto Rico, I'm buying my fourth home. And if I count, you don't get to count these, but if I count these two other multifamily things that I invested in, then I'm buying my sixth property. And I'm afraid about it. I'm nervous. Like, what if we make the wrong decision? What if rates go down? What if I'm not getting the best deal? Well, the one that haunts me is the one the first one that came up when we were like, okay, let's get serious about upgrading.
Mm-hmm.
That home sold for 1.2. It could have and should have sold for 1.3. In hindsight today, I'll buy it today for 1.3.
Yeah.
But I was at 1.2 and someone else got it at 1.2. They chose another family at 1.2. Had I offered 1.25, could they have preferred that family for 50 grand? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't willing to do it. Aiden told me, he's like, that it's like, you should go stronger. I'm like, nah. The AC is broken. I can fix the freaking AC.
How long ago was that now?
July.
Okay.
And 2 homes near it have been on the market, and I look at it and I'm like, that is the one that got away. So not very many people. If you just look at percentages, now can you get screwed? Can you buy in 2007 early and sell later, be screwed later that year? Could China and Taiwan get in a conflict and you buy today and things go bad tomorrow? Like, anything can happen. Could you buy in an association and then that go weird because they come to find out there's these steel eating termites, that just got discovered, steel rhinoceros beetles. Anything could happen. We would do our best to help you vet out to make sure that it doesn't. But if you just look at the percentage, we tried this today so that we think about putting our TV here. So if we look at the percentage of people that bought a home and regretted it, and the percentage of people that bought a home and are like, thank God, people are just more like 90-10 or something, 95-5, maybe more. Not many people regret buying real estate after a while.
Yeah.
But almost everyone regrets either not buying real estate at all
or waiting
or
too
not
long.
buying more. or
yeah.
waiting too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never buying, waiting too long to buy, me, and not buying more when you could have, or not going bigger when you could have.
Yeah.
I'm in my little house, and that's what we're upgrading. And I think, well, what if we would have just not been afraid? So the best time to buy is when you can buy. So the things to focus on are less about, now, not that we shouldn't pay attention to rates. That's why we bring Jody in to talk about interest rates. Not that we shouldn't pay attention to.
We're still going to talk about rates.
World
We're still going to talk about
economic,
economics. We're still going to talk about
like geopolitical,
even seasonality. Like all those things will still be talked about and can still be important for sure. But it's not like the only thing you should consider.
Not even the main.
It's not even the main thing you should consider.
The main thing should be you.
Yeah. Like me, can I afford this house? Will this house be better for my family? Is this the house that I'm going to be more productive in? Is this the house that I will be happy in for the next 5, 10, whatever years? If the answer is yes, then like, let's start making the other moves to make sure that we can do that.
Yeah.
And not 5 years from now. If the answers are yes right now, do them now. Because 5 years from now, you're going to wish you did them yesterday.
What do you think about neighbors?
That's
that interesting. Is your mic on? Yeah. What do you guys think about buying based on neighbors? The reason why I asked, there's this home in Mauka, and I went to go look at it. I rode my bike this morning. We didn't have much time to go gym, so I did a little bike ride, get the blood going. And I was also listening to a podcast this morning, and I choose the least douchey ones possible. It's a business thing, okay. So it's like, what you mean, do you? What you mean, do you? So it's a business thing, and they're like, be around the right people, have the right neighbors. And I think, I tend to not like. I'm like, that's elitist, stuck up, pretentious.
You don't really choose. You don't have control over who moves in around you.
But let's say you have a bit of a range. Like me, I could buy in a bit of a range. Like there's a range that makes me a little uncomfortable, but history has shown I should get a little more uncomfortable. When I went and looked at this one home that I didn't buy, and it was in the American Classics part of Miliani Mauka. So it's like the biggest, grandest homes in Miliani. And then I went and did some research. One of the neighbors, like he's a really successful insurance person and has.
Well, you went on like tax records and looked everybody up.
Yeah, well, you know what I did? I was looking for VA loans that are assumable in the area, and there are only so many. And so then I found a guy, and then I was like, let me go, Instagram stalk him. And then I actually met him and saw him a few times recently.
Did you just randomly bump into him?
I was riding my bike and I was like, hey, you're the insurance guy. Yeah.
I saw on your Instagram that you come here every day.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock. Yeah. So here I am as well. Hello.
And your wife's social is no. But I told him, I said I stalked you because I was looking for VA assumable loans. Yeah. And but point being is he's a very successful business person. Has multiple nice cars, beautiful home. And you have other people around there with the same sort of pedigree. There's this other home that I'm totally fine with. There's this other home that's cool. I like it. But I've met some of the neighbors on that home. When I went to go look at it today, I was like, I know at least one of the neighbors. And so now that one neighborhood is represented by this, proximity, and the other one's represented by a more negative one. And how much do you guys care? Because like where Ken lives, variety. Yeah. But there's some players in the community, and
What's me players?
Some people making business moves, or acquiring assets, things like that. And one of the more prominent ones who we know and might come to mind, he talks about that in your community. He's like, man, in these pools, in these hot tubs and these pools, like I put deals together. I bought houses in the hot tub.
It's true. I think I know who you're talking about, and it is true. Like at the gym, it's just like a members only kind of situation. So if that's what you're looking for, then
it's like going to Equinox.
But I think more importantly for us, it's like how many families are there playing on the street? With the kid, you know what I mean? So I'm in the parent era.
That too.
And that kind of trumps business era in a way.
With that, I miss my townhome community that I rented in. There were so many more families. Now, I don't know that I would trade it and go back, but I think about it. Like there's just, you guys go outside, big patch of grass, come home after. I could do that in that townhome community. And these big, sterile, successful business person communities, someone might, run over my kid with their Cybertruck on accident.
There is that perception of that, like less commingling and less, it's just like business people who are successful who come, wave, say hello, but maybe not necessarily like, hey, I'm running late. Can you make sure my kid gets in okay? Like
the audacity,
like not that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, ask your maid or whatever, like.
Yeah.
But
I don't got no maid, just to be clear.
Cleaner. Ask your cleaner.
I had someone come help clean recently. Yeah, I would let them pick up my kids too.
Yeah. That's what I got a Derek and an Aiden for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what about you? What do you think?
I have a lot of neighbors where I am now.
Well, see, ideally, we'd want this super local, vibrant community that also is quiet at 10 p.m.
That's my problem.
But that also, you can't have all things.
That's my problem. I have like the neighbors. I have like varying ages of kids. I got like the neighborhood dog, Auntie Amy and Cupcake, a retired old lady and her little old dog in her sweater walking around. Like I have all those things, but also I'm just like so spoiled. I'm like, I'm just like, it's been a long day. I just don't really want to talk to anybody, like I want
to. Is that your whiny voice
that
like Kyle has to hear?
Like, I'm so tired. Like, I don't want to barbecue, like it, because of the way our place is set up, there's like kind of a courtyard in the middle.
Yeah.
And the entryway for all of our homes you have to enter that area. So I'm like, oh my God, there's not even like,
can't avoid people.
You can't avoid it, So on the one hand, it's amazing because I feel like my kids are totally fine to go do whatever. And I know like, hey, Auntie Mary and Corey downstairs, like if I'm late for something or you need something, I know like I can call them downstairs and they can check on you or whatever. Mm-hmm. That exists, but also it's very communal. And for, somebody like me or somebody who feels like me and our line of work is we are on all the time and we talk to a lot of people all day, every day, a lot of different types of personalities. Sometimes we're really stressed out with escrow. Sometimes things are smooth and it's a lot. So our social battery when we get home, sometimes I only have like this much left and that's to cook dinner and not be mean to my kids because my fuse is short, like sometimes that's just
where you live. It's hard to yell at your kids and not have everyone hear it.
I'm not even worried because I feel like you guys know me already. You guys know how I sound, the music I listen to, how I sing, like, all of that stuff. But, it's just, you just can't have it all. You can't have like overly communal and like, somebody's birthday, we all going to go down there or like the baby shower that I just helped set up the other week, like
I think
you can't have all things and then be like, oh, you will decidedly be left alone whenever you feel like being left alone.
Here's a good question. Where do you think people move to expecting a certain experience and they get it?
Kailua.
I was going to say Kailua. Of course, town, I think.
Yeah.
Like
town.
Ward, Kakako.
It's pretty easy to accomplish.
Not counting super dense city. The community that comes to mind, it's like, well, I'm moving for a certain thing, a certain brand, a certain expectation, and getting it. Mm-hmm. Kailua, it's pretty on point. Mm-hmm. I feel like
Mauka is like that too.
I think that's what I just was thinking because in Mililani, it's very pockety.
That's true. Yeah.
It's very, just the two I went and considered today. I'm like, they're so different. Mm-hmm. They're so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kailua for sure. Town for sure.
Where do
I don't know where else. Because people have such perceived ideas of what a thing should be. And then you get there. Like Waianae, for example, people think it's like, oh, rough. My life is in danger. I'm like, no. And then you meet the nicest people you've ever met. Yeah. Who are like the best neighbors you've ever had. Like,
yeah. What about, North, I feel like North Shore, I started to say that's one, but also I think depends. Mm-hmm. Someone might move there and it's everything they thought it was going to be. And someone might move there and they might move away real quick.
Yeah.
Or be pushed away real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
North Shore is a weird one.
Yeah. I think it's really different from what people think it is as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. North Shore is, where do you think people move, Kenji included, that it's not what they thought?
Hawaii in general.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can't, that's a, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just the whole thing.
Yeah. That's That's probably, yeah. That's a great answer. I wasn't thinking. Okay.
Don't act so surprised that you liked my answer. Like, oof.
I'm surprised.
Damn it. I hate that.
I'm surprised you said something intelligent. But what city then? You think people move and it's not what they expected? They didn't get the experience they bargained for. I'm gonna do another one like her then.
What?
Kauai.
Oh yeah.
Because I think people visit and they go, I lived in the mainland. Tell me in the comment section too, do you have your favorite island or your favorite city or favorite experience? Because when I lived on the mainland, I would say, oh, I'm from Hawaii, and maybe I'm kissing someone on the cheek, and I gotta explain why I'm doing that, or whatever, or maybe I'm just earning free brownie points because you get that when you say it from Hawaii, yeah. But
like internationally, somehow you get that.
Yeah. And so, where's I going with it? People would say, oh, Hawaii, we go to Maui every year.
Yeah. Like,
oh, Kona is our favorite. It's Maui as
Kona.
a general.
Yeah.
Kona.
Kauai
specifically
sometimes
Kona.
too.
And then Kauai. It's either Honolulu, typically Honolulu. But
Princeville too.
Yeah, I mean Princeville. That's what I meant. Princeville or Poipu, but Kauai, Princeville. And honestly, I was like, I don't even know Princeville, to be honest. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
But people be like, oh, Princeville. When Kenji and I went there a couple years ago, I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You've been to Princeville?
Yeah, that's where we stayed when we were just there.
It's beautiful. Like the cliffs with what are those birds? Albatross birds. It's amazing. But I think Kauai is one where you might go and be like, I'm gonna volunteer to clean up the road, and I'm gonna plant, trees and feed them to the locals, and just have this kumbaya, and then you get like punched.
You could.
Yeah. Kauai is one. Sure. Yeah. But what about an Oahu city then? You get one, Ken? Where I think people think they're gonna get an experience and don't get it.
Nah, Mahi had the best answer. Because anywhere you go,
because I was just trying to pinpoint like one area, but I know people who have that experience no matter where they're at here.
But see, like Kailua town is less likely.
I feel like because it's very a thing.
So there has to be something on the other side of the spectrum. Come on, this is what we do.
Well,
Mahi had the best answer.
Why not? Because people think it's going to be nuts, violence, blah blah blah.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's see this comment right here.
Yeah, and then they find out, oh wait, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
and like great experience.
Yeah.
Patrick
Pule said, been watching your videos for a while now. Visited Oahu for the first time last year and loved it. Stayed on West Side, not knowing much about the areas, but despite the stigma, the people are super friendly, more so than town.
See?
Yeah, and this is like somebody who came as a tourist as well, which is even more like surprising to people, right? Because they just think like, oh,
where are you from? Because I want to.
When did I say your name wrong? It's probably like Pule or something. I said Pule.
You said Pule. No.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I was processing that while I was talking. I was like, wait, he's not from here, but his name
Pule is the name. So I'm like, maybe
prayer
or something.
Pule is prayer.
Yeah.
Or to pray.
Yeah.
Is it prayer or to pray or both?
Pray.
You can use it as both.
Because you're like, oh, who's gonna give the pule? And then you can also be like, okay, time to
pule.
Kako. Yeah,
let's pray. Pray.
It's pule.
Mule, he said.
No, mule.
Pule like mule, he said.
Yeah.
So sorry, but
Orange County.
with just so you know, if you're over here, people can call you pule.
Yeah. So I bet you in town, Hawaii Kai, the feeling was to Orange County. And you got out to the west side.
Oh, he said Orange County. Did you say that already?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, why did you? Okay.
Yeah. I bet you that's it. I bet you got out to the west side and you're like, wait. This is what I envision. People, hey, how's it, brother? Hey, go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you it was too Orange County.
Said, great answer. I think a lot of people like myself and my bride love Hawaii and like the idea of living there, but don't think about the day-to-day reality of what to do. We've been to Maui 4 times, Kauai once, and Oahu is next. I want to see Kailua and Waimanalo. Yeah, I think I think people in general, Hawaii is not thought of by the general population in like long-term thoughts. Yeah. It's like one day I want to go to Hawaii. Like one day I'd love to visit. I feel like it's on everyone's like bucket list to spend a time here, like some time here.
Yes.
But
a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
but not a lot of people think of put like real thought, unless it's something like for real. Oh, their family's from here, or they're moving over here, or they got work here, or whatever. People don't necessarily like give it that extra thought of like, okay, oh shoot, I'm here now. What do I do? Like,
you know what it's like to bear with me. You know, you go farmer's market. There's this bliss. Like, oh, they have acai, flowers, lily koi butter.
Yeah.
Just all this like, oh, it's amazing. You spend more money.
Yeah.
It's fun. You have like tacos and ice cream, whatever.
But that's not your grocery store. You're not going to go there every day.
But
right?
to go there every day, or even to be a worker,
you
never like contextualize, because people, I mean, just think of a Kailua farmer's market.
Yeah.
Oh, the kale, the world's amazing. The birds are singing. Meanwhile, the person selling it is like, gosh,
so annoyed with you guys.
You know, it's my third job. You know, right? But when you're there, it's not time to be like empathic, right? It's not time to I don't even want to go negative, but say it's almost like a selfish time, but it kind of is. It's going to the farmer's market is like a communal yet me time.
Yeah, it's like I'm splurging.
And that's Hawaii's. That's most people think of Hawaii as that's going to be my experience.
Yeah.
But to be ingrained, to like work the farmer's market every weekend or whatever, you would have a different feel about it.
Yeah.
Could be amazing.
Yeah.
Could build amazing relationships, but it would be it wouldn't be this sort of novel thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, so deep, just to talk about.
I know. What was the original question? I don't even remember.
What's the meaning of life?
Well, we skipped Joey's.
Real estate.
Or
Johnny Franco. Has it ever been this bad in being a real estate agent?
What do you mean? I think, has the market ever been this suppressed? We have seen stats that last year was the slowest year since like the mid 90s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Thought maybe since 2008
you don't read
or something.
My stuff then, huh?
Sometimes you send me stuff and I'm just like, is this a thing I have to look at?
And Jody walks in and she's laughing. You know, I
just...
send that, right? I send that to the team because I let them know, like, hey, there's people getting out of this industry.
Yeah.
It's with the slowest market in 30 years, et cetera. Yet we have our best year or one of our best years. So we're something special, right? Yeah. And so that's why I send you guys that. To let you know. So you get entitled.
Yeah, why? You like your act.
Yeah.
Look, everybody.
Yeah.
Go hang out with them then.
Yeah, kind of. But all right, you want to stay or you want to go?
I'll go.
You go? Okay.
Yeah, I'll go.
All right, we're going to bring in Jody.
Miss Jody Tanga.
I'm going to ask Jody some of the same questions.
Oh, you got to pull up the...
I'll bring it up. Oh, look at this. Look at this text I just got. I'll give you guys the behind the scenes. Morning, Derek. Took a while, but offer just sent. Have a good day. Looking forward to hearing from the sellers.
On the beautiful house.
On the beautiful house.
Yeah.
And then there's like probably 4 other agents who are like, can you let me know when you get your offer so I can write mine? And so I think we'll have a handful. How are you, Jody?
Good. Busy.
Busy?
President's Day weekend.
How many sports your kids play? They're trying to do like decathlon or something. Like, I saw a baseball helmet, then I saw football, and I know there's soccer.
Yeah. Dash does 3.
Yeah.
He bagged.
He wants to do 3.
He bagged.
He wants
really,
to smoke,
he actually also wants to play basketball. And we told him he had to pick 3 only, so he outruled basketball.
Okay.
Liv is completely dialed in on gymnastics and dance.
Okay.
And Dylan is dialed in on soccer. And what comes with soccer is, a little bit of cross country, a little bit of weightlifting, strength training, plyometrics. Like, so he does all that other stuff.
But he's at that high school level where it's that kind of stuff is needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 8th grade, but he'll be in 9th grade next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's going to be high school.
Yeah. So it's busy. I mean, Dash had 3 soccer games, 1 flag football, and 2 baseball. Liv was in the gym all weekend training, with some dance stuff. And then Dylan had soccer. They had film session and then soccer practice. And he had weight training.
Nice. Hey, the thumbnail is still The Dangers of Hawaii?
Is it?
I think so. That's why I was having a hard time finding it.
Oh, Maybe.
Trey, well, correct me if I'm
yeah,
wrong.
I think it is.
It is. Okay. We'll have to change that
Yeah,
thumbnail.
yeah.
Well, Jordy, the thumbnail I thought we had and the topic we started with was when is the best time to buy?
Yeah.
And I think you probably answer it similar to what we would say. But what do you say? When's the best time to buy?
So I always say like 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah.
Or today.
That's some variation of what this real estate influencer. So I woke up and I heard this and I was like, let's make this the topic. Oh, let me watch this.
When's the best time to buy a home? 100 years ago. What does that question mean? Every home in America 50 years ago. That's what I'd like to do. What does that question mean in the context of timing? Best time to buy a home is whenever you're in the best position to buy the home.
Right.
Yeah.
And so one thing that Mahi and I were talking about is it's not that we shouldn't pay attention to the interest rates and geopolitical things, and we should. And to the degree that your personality needs that. Some people are like, I don't know, I should buy one house. Because I know it's good. My dad bought a house and said I should buy, and I'm gonna buy. Some people are more analytical. I'm one of them. Like it can be a negative. I'm so analytical. And to the degree that you need to think about that stuff, let's do it. That's why we bring you in. Part of why we bring you in, etc. But the thing you should really focus on is you, right? Like
right.
Maybe increasing your earning.
Yeah.
Budgeting, credit, your marriage, the things that are important and put you in a position to make that decision. Because on the spectrum of people who bought a home and are thankful, thank God I bought a home, versus people that have some sort of regret around either not buying, waiting too long, or not buying more.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are thank God I bought, it's probably like 95.5. I mean, there's a very small percentage that regret buying.
Right. It was probably like 98, 99.
98. I mean, you could, right? You could buy in 2007 early, 2008 come, and the military says you have to move. And you don't have the ability to float it. You just don't. You could buy today, and I said it earlier, there's like these steel-eating termites that come out tomorrow, and then your building is screwed or whatever because you bought a condo. But just if we use actual data,
right,
people who regret buying are very few. I mean, you've had thousands of clients that by now probably have a couple that have regretted buying, right? But not very many. Yeah.
Mm-mm. And the couple I have I probably have like less than 5 in 20 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And I can remember them because things happened,
other life things,
death. The house was just horrible. Like, I'm like, did you do what happened with the home inspection? How can this happen? Right. Actually that's like 3 of them. 3 of the 5 are just like this. Well, I know we signed off on it and we didn't think it was going to be a big thing. But then once we looked further in, it turned into like a, $100,000 commitment. So that's not great. But
could have been prevented though.
Could have been. Yeah. So and they did, they're like, we know we signed off on it because we didn't think we thought it was just going to be this small leak in the pool, which is actually something I went through. We knew the water there was a slow leak, but we didn't know why. And we had 5 professional pool people come in and dive under. Yeah.
Wow.
And they did the whole thing. They spent thousands of dollars trying to figure out that slow leak. And it wasn't until we owned the property and continued looking through it and found out that it was through one of the light fixtures. There was lighting from under the water, and that was the slow leak. But in order to fix that, they had to drill a hole through the electrical, that's the pool.
Yeah.
So they had to drain the pool. They had to drill a huge 1-foot trench through the electrical. So anyways, ours wasn't 100,000, but we had a similar thing, right?
Yeah.
And we have zero regrets. Like I had zero regrets about buying it. Yeah.
No regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone is, I've had so many people call and be like, I knew it was going to be a struggle. I knew I was stretching myself financially. It helped me to become more disciplined. It helped me to understand my budget, and look how much equity I have now.
Yeah.
And that's a lion's share of the conversation.
Yeah, almost all of it. Right?
Because I truly believe that you become an adult when you have mortgage payment.
Yeah, I mean, my parents would be, do you pay the mortgage? Do you pay for this house? Do you pay the light bill? All right. Yeah, I can see that. I
just think that people do things that they never thought they could when they have a thing, an expense that they know, an obligation that they know they're going to have, and it's created them it's driven them to be more.
You think it grounds and anchors you in a good way?
And it like pushes you. And nothing against men, but I do feel like it's more towards my female homeowners that are like, where this is where the rubber meets the road. And so it's only after I bought that property that I really made things happen and I turned it on. And I'm nothing against men. Maybe I just hear about it more from the females.
Okay. I get that. Yeah. Well, let me challenge you then, because I have the home we're upgrading. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, well, do you regret buying the home that you have? And it's regret's not the right word. We have amazing memories. And actually my wife and I have talked about, as small as our house is and as much as we want to upgrade, we talk about how we're going to miss that house when we upgrade.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The family's tight, I'm afraid of buying too big of a house because I might feel too distant. But you have a piece of real estate that you've talked about selling. Yes. One of your pieces. Yes. Do you regret buying that one?
No.
Yeah? Because that one's really not worth very much more than you bought it for 20 years ago? Something? 15?
20.
20? It hasn't really appreciated that much. And it's just a weird piece of real estate. So it was a weird investment.
It was a weird investment.
And you don't, you've talked about offloading it. You probably should.
Yeah.
But why don't you regret that one?
Because that's where.
Seems like a regrettable one.
I mean, was it the best investment? No. But I needed somewhere to live at the time. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be in close proximity to starting the company. So it was literally right across the street from where my office was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so it was like, I knew someone that owned in there, and they were kind of like, yeah, I love it. It's central, it's downtown, it's, so he kind of sold me on like that lifestyle. Okay. And then it was literally right across the street from my office. Okay. And so this is the reality that I wanted. Like I woke up, went downstairs, walked my dog, even though there was no dogs allowed. Everyone knew, and they were totally cool with it. Walked my dog, went back upstairs. The 24-hour fitness was right around the corner. I walked to 24-hour fitness. I worked out, came back, showered, walked across the street, worked, hustled, built relationships, etc. Walked back for lunch, made good food. So I wasn't like eating crap. Yeah. Because I don't really like to eat out, right? And then walked back to work. Like I stayed there until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, working, just grinding, whatever. Yeah. And then went back home. Like I mean, for me, that's what I needed. And
you met your husband, right?
I was about to say. And that's where I met my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where, I mean, honestly, that lifestyle was fun. Like I used to meet, walk to all the escrow companies. Oh, okay. And I did all my signings at all the escrow companies. I had like a little working space at First Am.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that's always been my like ride or die. I
love First Am too.
Yes, you do. I did seminars. I did a 2-year every Friday seminar where I was teaching real estate agents. So that was like walking. I walked to First American. They hosted the space, and I would just show up there and do these whatever technology type seminars. That was when like what's a Facebook ad? What's video marketing? Stuff like that.
Okay.
All that was like the birth of Pacific Rim Mortgage. So I don't regret it.
You don't regret it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, point is it's hard. It's rare to regret buying real estate. Now, I imagine when I hear that guy or when I hear this whole conversation, I'm always afraid of, not afraid. I'm careful. I don't want to be this salesperson who's always like, you should buy, you should earn us commissions, and you should. I don't want to do that. But so I bring up I'm sure there's people who bought in Detroit before it went to like $10,000 houses and they regret it. I'm sure there's anomalies across the country.
I mean, there's hundreds and thousands.
Even in Hawaii, there's probably you bought and then turns out that condo building has some severe, foundation problems and there's steel termites or whatever, right? But it's rare. Just the generality of it is if you make a chart, there's almost none of those people. And there's just almost all of the people who are like, it's a good thing I bought.
Well, and specifically Hawaii, right? Versus like Nevada, Florida, etc. But because of our limit.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a limited supply.
Right.
And then if you have the staying power. So that's something that you and I both talk to our buyers about specifically. Extensively, specifically. Yes.
Yeah.
It's let's understand the staying power and then let's understand the exit strategy. Because if you can go in eyes wide open to that, then there's almost just not a risk. I don't want to say there's not a risk, but there's not a risk.
Not a risk. You get laid off tomorrow. That's not, that's nothing that's outside of the control of vetting out, underwriting the situation.
Right.
Right. If you want to go tomorrow and punch your boss in the face, that was your fault. Right. We have a couple of questions. I'm going to just start with Larry because I see Larry's one, but if I probably missed some other people's stuff, then Kenji will tell me where to start on the next one. So Larry, what's up, Larry? He says, Jody, what has been your experience in the last few months in regards to appraised value and purchase price, like a ratio? Have things been appraising, I think, is it the question?
Everything's been appraising.
Yeah. We have, Aiden and I have one that didn't appraise. But we knew there's occasionally a seller who's just like, I don't need to sell. I can sit for 2 years on the market. I don't care.
Yeah.
My price is my price. And then there's occasionally a buyer that comes along and goes, frick, I'll take that house. And they have the idea of, I won't regret it later. Of the people that never regret things, like I won't regret it later. They're on that side of the chart and they're like, I'll overpay today.
Yeah.
And we told our buyer, don't buy the place if you don't want to, but they're just like, no, we'll overpay, so many thousand, 25,000 or whatever. But it's, things tend to appraise,
most
right?
are appraising, but that doesn't mean, keep in mind that doesn't mean that the accepted offer price was 100% of the list price. So, but everything for the most part.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Everything for the most part that I'm seeing is appraising. However, we're seeing seller credits. And I do have one investor that we just closed that he didn't appraise. It was, darn, I can't remember the name of the condo, but it was $805,000 was the sales price. They got a $5,000 credit and it appraised for like $798,000. So
that's close.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like when I brought it up to the buyer, he was like, and he's an investor, but so he was like, yeah, I don't want to renegotiate the price down. I'm like, you don't even want to give it a shot, and he was like, no, I mean, we already have the credit and blah, blah, blah. Let's just close.
If they have a 10-year vision, it may not matter too much. We have these one clients, they bought all cash. So you didn't meet them. It's super cool. And shout outs to Ben and Roma, but he was like, all right, I'll take it. And this guy had been on and off the market and was on the market with the place I was at previously. And I just knew I could get them 10 grand more. I was like, I can get you 10 grand off. And he was like, we're all cash. Like, we don't even care at this point. I'm like, we've been having this conversation for like 4 months with this agent and they're not going to sell it in the next 48 hours. give me a day, I'll get you 10 grand more. And they're like, if you want to, but we don't want to lose the house. We're at a point where we just don't want to lose it. I got them the 10 grand. And then, yeah. And they were super stoked. They're like, we didn't even need that, but thank you. So yeah. Well, you rephrased that question, which was important. You said, keep in mind, offer price isn't 100% a list price. So when our things appraising, I think that could be what Larry or what someone else reading that question is thinking. Are sellers getting what they're asking for? Not necessarily.
Right.
There's actually I see a decent amount of properties that are listing too high.
Yeah.
And selling lower than they list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would have to say like the common thing that I've seen, this is without doing like any real like
no empirical data.
Right. No empirical data. This is just a feel. Anything 1.1 and above, I feel like our buyers are getting good deals. And when I say good deal, I just mean they're getting under asking and they're getting credits. So it doesn't mean like, when you have that one jewel that everyone's going to want, yours is probably going to go over asking.
Yeah.
But these are more, there might be 3 similar layouts. Like it's the same floor plan. There's 3 of them on the market. A little different in terms of like upgrades or no upgrades. But what I'm seeing, and I would have to say this is more like Eva.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Kapolei, but so not necessarily town, not necessarily Kailua.
Manoa, Miriani Mauka.
Yeah, not Milani Mauka.
Scarce and sought after markets.
Yeah. But that's where we're seeing like the deals more.
Yeah. Yeah. Eva Kapolei, you're seeing deals for sure.
Dr. Romance.
Dr. Romance. Love Hawaii. Been there once and heading back in a couple of weeks. My wife and I, both physicians, and I know there's a shortage in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. Thoughts on where we would be needed most? Well, what type of physician are you? What specialty? Thoughts on where we would be needed most? I think, first of all, thank you for the thoughtful question. Outer Islands, Queen's Health has a relationship or like runs the hospital in Molokai, but Molokai is a very specific thing. Big Island, Kauai, all of the outer islands have very limited. So I would say outer island might be where you're needed the most, but I'd also be interested in your specialty. For example, when my uncle was sick, no one could remove pacemaker wires. They can exchange a pacemaker, but can't do the wire extraction. You need a certain cardiothoracic surgery team, and there's not one in Hawaii. So everyone goes to Stanford. If you were that, I'd say go to the hub, go to Oahu. But, if you're a general practice physician, maybe an outer island. But yeah, let us know if you need to buy a home. Kahu, where Dr. Romance, Larry Tran, Hawaii in general is just not the same if you have to work day to day and not able to enjoy yourself like you do when you're on vacation. Depending on where you come from, it could be inconvenient. It's true. It seems like there are tons of listings everywhere and prices are very high. I'm glad you are doing well. Thank you. Yeah, affordability is not great. It just is what it is. That said, I don't ever think that a blue or a red or a purple president or anyone's gonna fix my problems. And I think that buying real estate and waiting is generally almost always better than waiting to buy real estate. So, and pertaining to our earlier conversation, focus on things you can focus on, get in a position and own real estate for a time. Was hiking with sister. This is Patrick Puel. Mahi said Pule, but he clarified Puel. Was hiking with sister and Mauna Lahi. Mauna Lahi. Yeah. Where's Mauna? You heard of that?
I don't even know.
Lahi. I don't know. You got to be. And she sprained her ankle. Homeless gentleman helped carry her down the cliffs and on his back and shared his story with us. Amazing people. Kevin Davis, what do you think of the insurance future for condo owners? We have seen increases, and with the fires in Cali and of course Maui, do you see any reprieve? You and Aiden did the AJ hour last week and kind of touched on a lot of this, right?
We did.
But so one can watch last week's live towards the back third of it or so, and Aiden and Jody, as I leave to go on an appointment, Jody and Aiden get into this. but do we see reprieve? I can say I'm not going to underwrite a deal thinking that insurance is going to get better.
Right.
Simple answer.
I think, I mean, the fact that these insurance or the projects are getting to full coverage, that's, to me, I mean, that's a step forward.
Stabilization point.
Right.
Reprieve. Stabilizing. Yeah.
Right. That's necessary. Like it's a problem if the board is gonna deny it and deny the move or deny the increase and just be not fully covered and not financeable, except for some sort of what we call, non-qualified mortgage financing. Because that's not good for the current owners. But of course, when you increase the coverage of the insurance, the costs are going to increase. And so HOA dues will go up.
It's not good. Someone pointed this out to me the other day. It's not good for the current owners if they're looking to exit. But if you're an owner who's looking to stay for the next 20, drive values down, drive my property tax down, drive all that down. Go get fully insured in 20 years when I want to sell. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a thought. There's probably other counters to that, such as leveraging or whatever. But in general, less property tax, lower value could be okay. So people tend to like to see, I follow the market and I see everything around me is going up. It's like, are you looking to sell? No, never. It's like, well, it may not be a good thing for you, but perspective. We answered Larry's question. Best bud, what is the best island for a laid back vacation? I was thinking Kauai. Think so?
Yeah.
More than Big Island?
Yes.
I think so too, because, depending on what you want to do, but I generally agree because there's really no good beaches. I mean, it's hard to get the beaches that are good on Big Island. You gotta have 4-wheel drive. It's not good beaches. And when I think laid back Hawaii vacation, I need sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can Kauai, you have everything. I mean, if you want to be laid back, right? You have the hikes,
mountain,
the beauty,
fresh water.
Yep.
Actually, rivers.
Right.
Yeah.
Fresh water. You have everything.
You can still do a Costco run if you like. Yeah.
Is there a Costco in Kauai?
Yeah.
I think I forgot that.
It wasn't always there.
No, I now I remember because we go there. We go there for a softball tournament.
Shane.
Yes. Every year.
I felt the shade. It's not a sport. They're drinking and they don't practice. That's what she's thinking.
When we first got together, he was like softball. I was like, cool. I want to watch your softball game.
Jody's a competitive athlete, so it's funny if you understand Jody. Robert Smalling. Hi, Derek. Plan is to put my Seattle home up for sale in June. Depending on when the home sells, I plan to relocate to Oahu. Is fall in Oahu a good time to buy? Again, I said, well, pay attention to geopolitical stuff, interest rates, and Mahe mentioned earlier, and also seasonality. The best time to buy is when you're ready to buy. Late fall into winter are times where sellers may be hurting more because there's less buyers, but then there's also less inventory. So the amazing cul-de-sac home that comes up, could be hotter in November because the next one's not coming up until May. So it just depends. Hawaii doesn't have the seasonality of things that the mainland has, but it is slower in the fall. So if you're coming with a huge hammer to lay the smack down with a $500,000 cash, $1 million cash, $2 million cash, then it could be advantageous.
Yeah.
Kevin Davis says, mahalo. Well, let's wrap this up, but we would be, we have to talk about rates. How are rates?
Steady.
Same? Yeah. Same as last week and the last week for the most part. Okay. There's all sorts of emotions around Doge and Trump's cabinet and all of these sorts of things. But so far, the way the markets have responded was maybe an initial small amount of relief and then just kind of staying the same.
Yeah, I just feel like they just had it. The markets had a buffer in there. So like
the Trump buffer might always exist,
Trump
right?
Buffer. It might exist for
because he's volatile, or the situation could be, the Chinese prime minister shook my hand too hard,
right.
And we're gonna
right.
We're gonna start throwing out some tweets or some Truth Social posts, right?
Right.
And so maybe there'll always be a buffer
there, and so yeah. I mean, we have started to negotiate with our wholesale partners and say like, hey, this is what we were hoping for. And
so you say that we don't all have the context. So you say that like it's crazy. Is that kind of unprecedented? You don't like call this big wholesale mortgage line and say, hey, we're looking for these terms. Usually they just give you the terms.
They give us the terms that we have a rate sheet and or a pricing software where we go into theirs. We put in the profile, credit score, how much down payment, what type of loan, stuff like that. And then it produces like what we call a pricing matrix. Okay. And so it says, okay, this is what you could get for a 6.25, 6.375. This is if you wanted to buy down to maybe like a lower interest rate. Like some people, if you have a 10K seller credit, you might want to use that 10K to secure a lower interest rate. And so when we're getting these results, we're still like going back to like our connects there and saying like, hey, this is what, we have this deal, we're putting it together. I want to bring it here, but like, we just need it to get a little better. And so,
so is that partly attributed to the lack? Because when you're walking in, we're talking about one of the slower years in the last 20. Is that like, hey, there's only so many loans to go around. I got one. Give me these terms and I'll broker it to you. Are you in that position now?
I think so.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think so a little bit. And I think also because of the buffer. Because I think there is like, a little bit more.
You could come down a little bit.
I'm like, I think you could make it a little better. Like, I feel like you're being safe and I get it because people know how we operate. They know what type of loans we put together.
Yeah.
And they also, no offense, but there's also other people that do exactly what I do where it's going to take double the work.
Yeah.
Literally double the manpower to get the same exact loan closed. So for us, I'm like, okay, it's us. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get a beautiful package with a beautiful bow handed over.
Yeah.
With speed and efficiency.
You're not going to have to teach us.
Yeah. You're not going to be like,
chase documents.
Where's the bank statements, and then a last minute rush. Like I remember, when I was just learning, I did that. Like I would be like
probably everyone
chasing documents. And then all of a sudden we get to like the 11th hour and I would be like, you need to rush this file. I need to sign tomorrow. No ifs, ands, or buts, and I would be freaking out. And they were looking at me saying like,
look, rookie.
You had 35 days to get this done. Yeah. It's not our fault that you dropped the ball,
Right.
And so I remember those days, but I'm just, everybody knows our reputation in terms of like how we do business.
And it matters in business how efficient you are. How are you going to make it for the other people? We talked about an agent recently who made it very difficult on everyone and was just constantly wrong. And if put in the position to advise my seller to accept their offer, I'd be like, look, they're 5,000 above the next person, but the next person is worth 5,000 less headaches. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
I am telling you, right? It could, in a big multifamily acquisition, they might look at the different people and look at experience, right? So you're buying $100 million project in Tennessee. They say, well, these people have a track record. They have systems, they have leverage. It's going to be an easy transaction at 100 million. Well, the other people are offering 105 million, or whatever the margins are on those big deals, 102 million. They might take the 100 million, right? Because it's just a better deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of people exiting the market, I just had a conversation with someone. I was just underwriting a deal for them. I've been using that word since you and Aiden have been using it. But so yeah, he was trying to do a VA assumption. Long story short, I was telling him why it was not really going to work. And the agent literally called me, being to me like
mad.
Just, why did you tell him he couldn't do it? Da 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 da. Do you know how many showings I've taken him to? I've been with him for this many hours. Da 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 da. He needs to close on this no matter what. All it takes is this, and he needs to go get a HELOC on his other property. He's screaming at me, and I'm like, listen, I talked to this person.
Was it that same person?
No.
Oh.
As a favor to the seller's agent, I don't know you. No offense. Yeah. Who are you? Where'd you come from? You know, and he's just, he basically didn't say like, dude, I need to get paid on this. But that's basically what he said.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, talk about not having the buyer's best interest at heart.
It's crazy. Stuff be crazy like that. And you know what? Our video, you know, the way that we start our relationships through video like this, the time people spend with us before we even meet them, they already know Jody. They already know us. That, along with just who we are, allows us to not be in that position, because if, you know, you're dragging the team through the mud for so many months, whatever, there's going to be a point where we say, hey guys, let's calibrate. How serious are we? It's okay to be not that serious and for it to be a slow build, you know, like waves. Waikiki rolls in. You see it from on the horizon. Sandy's, there's no wave until it kills you. It's okay to let's just know what we're dealing with. And so if it's like, hey, we just signed a 12-month lease and we'll be buying in 12 months. Maybe we're going to be heavy on the open house and not us showing every, 100 properties a week. If it's, we need to be in a property by the end of the month and we really need this to happen. Okay, let's attach ourselves to you and let's get this done.
Right.
So it's interesting how professionals in real estate think that being so polished and professional is not having these, what could be a challenging conversation. It's more respectful and professional to have that conversation, right?
It is.
And so that person probably didn't need to be in the state they were in, but they did this like dishonest realtor thing for so long. They're like, I just need to get freaking paid. Well, just communicate better. Well, you don't have to act like you're acting. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy because I like walked out of a workout to have the conversation because everything seemed very urgent. And I just wanted to be able to validate if he could or if this was realistic or not.
What was it about the situation that wasn't going to work?
He didn't have enough money to bridge the gap.
Yeah. So even if they wanted to go down the road, there was no road.
Right.
The road stops.
Right. And so, so he was trying to convince him to do VA and another VA loan, right? A new VA loan. And he was trying to say that, like, I don't know if you know this, but you can have more than one VA loan at one time. I said, oh, yeah, I know that. I know that. And we went over the numbers. So like he, and it was just kind of like in that 10-minute phone call, you went over all the new numbers with him. I said, yeah, because he told me how much he had on his VA. I told him how much he was going to have to put down. I told him, even if you were to be able to buy it down to like a 5.5% interest rate.
By what, on assumption?
Like doing a new loan.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To a 5.5, you're still paying more than double the assumption because our seller is sitting on a 2%. So
I see.
You don't have enough.
The seller's agent well. And
yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So it was just like, we went over the numbers. It's too much.
Yeah.
He does not want to spend it. I know he is able to do another VA loan for like $1 million, but
wait, but you can't have 2 VA loans on the same property, can you? Is that what he was getting at?
No.
Like assume so much and then another VA to fund the gap?
No.
I'm like, that would be brilliant. I can't believe I don't know about this if that's a thing.
No. And Yeah, bridging the gap with financing used to be a thing.
And or is a thing on smaller properties on the mainland, like not Hawaii price points.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like in
it used to be a
Oklahoma.
thing in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And the pretty much all the credit unions together took a step away from that together. Like
Well,
it's almost like they had a meeting and they were like, we won't do it if you don't do it. And they were like, okay, well, let's not do it. And
you'd still have to qualify though, right? Like, that additional amount of leverage would count towards your debt to income. And so you're taking on more debt, right?
Absolutely.
So you'd still have to qualify. That's the thing people don't get to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're assuming an $800,000 loan, but the home's worth $1 million, and so you need to fund a $200,000 gap, you have to be able to qualify for $1 million. And in fact, that 200,000 will be at different higher terms, and so it'll be even harder to qualify, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the good part about it is that the million is on the 2%. So then you're just like,
or the 800 is at 2%.
The 800, the 800.
And
Yeah.
then if the 200 could be on 10%, it'd still be a good deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. We'll see you guys next week, Tuesday. Go to coreteamhawaii.com. Go to the bottom. Connect with us. We'll introduce you to Jody and her team. And see you guys next week.